Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing this baby shower setup in the home. But before we do, don't forget like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So we setting up on this fireplace. I really didn't have a design in mind. I honestly thought I was just gonna do like a side garland kind of thing. And sometimes, I don't know, is it just me that sometimes side garlands can feel difficult even though we can do them so easily. I feel like I still struggle with them sometimes, which is crazy if they're doing so many different designs that a basic standard side garland can sometimes get me in the chokehold. But yeah, so I used the wire behind the television, and I probably should have just used one 260. I used two 260s to kind of bring it around the TV, and it made it way too loose at the top. And you'll see I had to keep pushing the garland up at the end so it won't show the 260. And that was because the 260 was just way too loose, and I should have just used one and like stretched it around. I just didn't want to pull on the wire too much, so that's why I used two 260s. But right now I'm just building out the garland. I wasn't sure at this point. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was trying to just make it, I don't know. I think I was just trying to do like a chunky top. I didn't know if I was gonna break it up at first or um do one full piece. I don't know. I think I was going back and forth in my head, but I'm just using quads of 4 balloons with a cluster of 8 balloons attached. I think the goal was actually, is that a cluster of 6 of balloons with a quad? I think that's a cluster of 6, maybe a cluster of 8. 2, 4, and I think it's a 6 maybe. But the other 3 clusters, the other 3 colors are all clusters of 8 balloons, and then a quad attached so I can blend into the next color. And I'm using my transparent gaff tape on top of the mantle, using the H method to hold that in place. But this is where I'm like, okay, the gold wasn't working. It was just too much. So I popped that off. And I use neck to neck. I'm tying everything neck to neck. So it's easy for me to just rip it out if I don't like the placement of it. So that's one of the reasons why I love neck to neck. Another reason, just because I feel like it makes the garland more sturdy. People always say how the clusters are always tight together. And it starts with having a good foundation. If you have good clusters, if your balloons are twisted and you can see all the necks are centered in the middle, then your cluster is pretty sturdy and good. And then you have a quad and things like that. Everything is pretty much twisted. That's the foundation of having a good garland. Once you have those things in place, when it comes to connecting them, even if you're using a 260, you want to make sure you're pulling tight on it. I don't recommend fishing line if you're heavy handed like me, because I tend to pull pretty hard, and I used to pop my balloons when I did use fishing line. I would recommend 260 though all day, if you're not comfortable using neck and neck. But for me, I prefer neck to neck because it allows you to pull tightly between 2 clusters and close majority of the gaps. You don't have many gaps when you're using the neck to neck method. But if you're comfortable with 260 and you perfected your 260 method, then use 260, whatever works best for you. And now I'm just building out the bottom. I think in my head I eventually was like, yeah, I'm gonna just do a full garland. Sometimes I just like to keep it simple and clean and cute. So I'm flaring out the bottom using my clusters. So when I inflate, and I think this is where a lot of people struggle with, I think. When I inflate personally, I always make sure that I build my clusters at home. And someone recently asked, like, we need, a video of you inflating at home and doing your clusters, which it's been a while. I did it in the past. It's on YouTube of me inflating at home, but I haven't done a video at home of me inflating. Half of the time, in the summertime, so I'm hot, I'm sweating, I'm not dressed modestly, so I'm like, I just like to inflate when I'm comfortable, and then if I have to be on camera, then it just changes the whole ball game. So yeah, I'll think about it maybe one day, inshallah. But anyway, right now I'm just using the clusters that I made, and I made clusters of like 8 balloons in a quad. Sometimes I do clusters of 6 balloon in a quad. This was the big mistake right here, you guys. I put that quad on top, and I've been told myself I was not going to end garlands off with just a quad, because the quad, even though it gives it a pointy look, and here we switched the whole garland, so that kind of was, yeah. But even if you use a quad on top, it gives a pointy look, but it gives it too much of a pointy look. I'd rather use like a cluster of 6 balloons. Maybe in a cluster of 8 balloons sometimes, you never know. But cluster of 6 balloons at a minimum, because the quad just makes it so pointy, and you'll see again at the end. I don't know. It was just too much. And as you can see, the garland was kind of pulling down just a little bit. And I kept having to push it up to cover the 260 from the TV, like I just did there. But the client loved it. It came out great. It was just for a baby shower at home. She had a beautiful home. And now I'm just adding on the 5 inches. And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's just the video. Look how it's pulling down because I was pulling on it. But I'm going to push it back up again to hide the 260. Alright, guys. This was the final setup. This is how everything came out. You see how the top was just a little too pointy for me? But, yeah, it's alright. You learn everything on every setup. Learn something. Alright, thank you for watching, guys. Bye.